fans on. We're gonna go live on Tradecaster here. Let's do this today. No real data releases. I'm gonna have to turn this fan down in a minute. People think yesterday was an overreaction. Bulls will step in. Nothing to really go crazy over. Inflection point for waiting momentum. Bloomberg. See what Bloomberg has to say. Stock futures reclaim solid ground after inflation miss. We did kind of rally for the most part since that low that we rolled over to yesterday. We kind of rolled into that zone there. I'm going to pull up this chart here. This is my longer term. I'm not worried about those guys right now. Yesterday, CPI number came out, went right to that zone there, rotated down, came into here, bounced right off our 560 level, flushed it down one more time. I was mentioning that yesterday that would be a real key target based on what we had going on here as reactions. So it bounced, got here, bounced once, came back to it, bounced again. So now we have kind of reclaimed a lot of that level there, and we've been rallying for the most part since we bounced up into this 17,680 level, and then based out most of the night until about midnight, and then after midnight we rallied up into that 17,793. That's that key breakout zone from prior. It used to be an all-time high. I do still have this drawn out. It's going to go away. It's unnecessary for me now. It played out. We're going to watch this. If it does get up into that range again, to clear up some of that CPI algo move down, you could look to short it from here. But if we do start to gain that momentum and break above that CPI number level, then this could even continue to rally on up. You know how markets have been pretty irrational of late, so this is an impulsive move. It's, you know, liquidity grab possibly to rotate us back to highs. After yesterday, there's going to be a lot of people interested in sells, but that may drive people to look to buy, right? So like the bigger players to kind of just grab some of the liquidity that's in here down at the lows. We got a new hat on the day. Got maybe I'll rock the company logo. This is the one I'm wearing now is the Day Trading Coffee Co. And then I got the Policing Pips hat here, brought to you by Timber and Hide Company. Check them out on Instagram. Buddy's over there. Alrighty, so we are open now. We're gonna see if we can get Nvidia to do anything. Pushing up on its highs, opening up to the upside. We do have overnight high basically right here. We bounced right to it, and we're actually moving around quite a bit. So let's kind of give this thing a couple minutes to settle down, and then we'll go from there. All right. Top Step X got his tilty. Let's see, tilt. I am watching tilt. 69% long. Like I said, I want to be mindful of that overnight high level. If it ticks up above it and we start to fade below the opening range, then maybe I'll look to short below maybe 775. That was our short point yesterday. This is a very strong delta push here. Opening range is about 100 ticks. So if we do crack above this opening high, this overnight high here, expect some of these higher targets to kind of get cleaned up. I did mention that pre-CPI number is right up here. That's that 870 zone. So let's watch it. I'm going to add my other YouTube up here so I could hear some stuff. I don't like sitting in the quiet. Trader TV live. Oh, that's why. I was like, why is it so quiet? I turned my volume down for editing last night. Alrighty. So we did flush that overnight high there a little bit. We got a little wick top. I gotta turn this fan down. Give me a second. It was like a hurricane in here with this fan. All right, so that was a good wick there. We got a good push to the high side. Gonna look to see if we can catch a little flip over. That was a nice wick. Too much risk right now. I need to see what's going on with my Top Step X here. Sell my Top Step X one. See what happens with that. Gonna be looking at this to get a short on it. I do like that. Let's see if Nvidia plays along too. Yeah, it's rolling over a bit. I'll take 2 guy. Do I have copy trading on? 271. I gotta edit my copy trader. I'm not worried about the copy trader right now. I had to restart my computer before. I had a lot of things open that was not necessary at the moment, and things were kind of dragging me down. So, you know, sometimes the computer just needs a nice little refresh. Waiting for a divergence here. Tilty's 64% long, so still heavier long than short. Average long position 17,792. Average short 17,796. So shorts are a little bit out of the money here. If we do get below here, I like this short to leave behind. Nvidia, I need Nvidia to not play to the upside. Need to kind of fail that level there, but it looks like it's going to do. I'll take a 2 guy short if it does go below here. This opening range low, and then risk to the high above this here. I would like it to push up a little bit and then rotate to the downside, but I wouldn't hate a flush here either. Kind of give us another little push to the downside, another leg here. Just being patient on it. You see this delta pushing up and price pushing down. S&Ps are rejecting 4,977. See you later, baby. Coffee time. If we can crack this opening range low, you probably start to initiate some sells. That's where I was looking to get my short to start, but it kind of just bounced right off of it. We didn't really flush it. You got some liquidity here from the overnight pre-market session. I still think that 775 level is going to be pretty important if we can get down through it. We did clean up that overnight high a lot of times. If we open at the overnight high, we can rotate down. S&Ps is pushing down a little bit. I'll take a 2 guy short through here. Stop above that little wick there. Let's see if we can catch a little piece of it. Gonna catch a little piece. First one's off at VWAP, or actually, first one's off here. Yeah, first one's off at the bottom of this. There we go. Got a little bit of a push down. Top Step X account kind of just being a little scalpy on it, so it's at break even. This one, I want to see it break through the 775. If it can break through 775 and hold, then we should get that push down to get that first contract off here, leaving the overnight high at the high and just continue to roll us down. Just that's the goal for this trade here. See if we can get it. It can play along. If not, we're going to be bounced out. Going to be sort of tight on this first one here. Not risking a ton on it. I think if we flush 775, we get off that first contract. We're going to be patient, There we go. We're pushing through 775. Let's see if we can get it off. I'm going to be at break even on it because if it does give me a nice little liquidity bounce, then I'm going to be out. That could have filled us. We're a tick off from getting filled on that one. Hopefully we get filled down here at some point. I'm going to be above 775. I don't want to rebound through it. Secure some of my profits on it. Give me that one off. Come on, get that one contract off there. That's ridiculous. One tick away from that bad boy getting filled. See, that's why I didn't go all the way down to VWAP. That's why I didn't go to VWAP. You see that thing return on me? 1 tick away. I flattened that. We're up. First trade on the day, we're up to 170. Not a bad trade. We're literally 1 tick from getting filled on this, which is fantastic. It'll probably fill now. I don't know what happened there. I had another order on. I don't know what happened there. I just heard it go badoop, and I didn't like that. Orders. You know, sometimes you hear noises after you've clicked buttons and you're flat, and you're like, pretty sure I'm flat. But I'm going to just make sure the trade here shows up 170. Yeah, we're up 170 on the first trade there. We took a nice little quick winner. On the Top Step X, we're up about 140. We've secured about 140 on it. I still have it on if it's going to continue to run to the downside, which is good. It's a 50K combine, so that's excellent. We'll take that to start the day. 775 is the stop on that now. I think we can catch a little bit. I'm going to update my little P&L thing here. We are starting the day positive instead of in the hole like the last couple days, which is nice. And we're stopped out on that one. Plus 170 on that trade there. We didn't get filled on our first contract off. I'll update that in a minute. We are slightly green. I'll get a little forest green on it. Take that first little winner on the day, and we'll keep it moving. Look for that next little trade opportunity. I did say I wanted to flush the bottom of that opening range low. We did. That would have ticked us out there for that first contract. We were trying to get off right here at the bottom. That would have been 285 on one, and then we would have had a runner on. We just stopped ourselves out based on that 775 acting at some resistance and whipping us up, which it did. We just once we got so close to taking that first contract off, I trailed my stop a little tighter than I would have. We're up 242 on our Top Step X accounts. On 2 of them, we're trade copying across. I figured out how to make that work. So up 242 on the day with those. Not too shabby. Over the last 2 days, we're up 1,200 on that Top Step X account. So that's good. Right. Now we're starting to rotate down. VWAP is acting as resistance. We do have the bottom of this wick here, and then all of this from yesterday. So I said be mindful of that 775. I did think we could get short through there. It seems like it's working out. I got a little tight on my stop to start. It was really the entry that I wanted. Potentially I was looking to get short up here once we reaccepted back into here, but I wasn't convinced because it was still holding above that opening range. So waited for the opening range break. Took the short, tried to get one contract off, literally missed it by a tick, came back, stopped us for a smaller winner, and right now we are pushing to the downside. Would have been the right trade there, but all in all, still green, still positive. So now we're just gonna, like I said, look for that next setup to try and get ourselves involved for a new trade here, a new win, another one. Sitting here right off the jump, getting involved, getting something off the table. We get this stream going. I got to get up to 25 viewers. I'm going to give away that free month of TradeCaster to one lucky viewer. If we can get up to 25 sometime this week, next week, it'll be a nice little giveaway for everybody. Let's see, who's coffee shipped? I got a notification. Shipment. Justice. Okay. Bum, 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 bum. Let's get this view count up. Let's see if this is just like a bounce play here. We did NVIDIA kind of push down to start and then starting to rotate back up. NQ here. This dotted line used to be a previous all-time high, so that 17,738 has been a really important level for us. So we got kind of close to it. I still think there's a chance we kind of tick off on it, and then that could be a bounce play. Anything down into where we bounced from the overnight could also be a good play to play a bounce. That overnight low, really the rotation right now, overnight high to overnight low, could be a good play. I'm just going to check on Microsoft. Microsoft flushed down on the open right to that 406.18 level that it always seems to want to be gravitating to. Is a good bounce point for it. Apple is flushing to the downside once again. Apple just any reason to sell Apple, people are doing it. I think if you can get down into that 180 range, you may get bid up pretty good. Down into there, that's a pretty strong support area for it. Hopefully it doesn't get down there. If it does today, then hopefully we get a setup for something that will push us down. Meta, I just want to see what it's doing. Kind of giving you a rally, pullback, maybe pushing through the high possibly here. NVIDIA is my key to these trades, right? Good bounce point, like I said. From here, that was a really good bounce point. Really, these zones work out really, really well if you pay attention to my stream on a daily basis. A lot of the rotations happen right to the bottom end of zones or top end, or we get ticked off on a zone that we kind of miss out on because it hits it to a tick and bounces off. That was the trade for me. That was the entry of the trade that I wanted to take there for today. That was excellent entry. Our first target was really good. It was just too good and missed it by a single tick. Really, I thought if we could get through this bottom here to kind of get some, if it was going to fake out to the bottom, I thought it was going to flush these. So it just kind of missed me by a tick. I could have marketed it out with one, but then I was so close to it that I would have been out of the whole position if I hit market order. So I ended up trailing my stop. I didn't want to get blown out above 775. Any failure of 775 to me could have led to something like that. So that's why I was kind of tight with it. So I'm not really, I'm not any sort of annoyed at this. It's just that's the move I expected, and then it just, sometimes you don't get to capitalize on the whole thing. So we'll take the base hit. We'll stay up on the day so far, 170, and then we're just gonna look for one more, next good entry that we can find. Like I said, 775 is a pretty important level to see how it reacts here. We will look, and I hit the wrong button, so now Premiere is gonna open. Sorry, my clicks are a little off, right? I've been clicking a little erratic today in the last couple days, if everybody's noticed that. S&P's pushing back up against that 49.97 and 3/4 level. Top Step X account up 242, up 1,200 on that. They're gonna be up to 5 accounts for $4.50 a piece. So I bought 2 of them so far. Probably gonna buy the rest of the 3 today and just let them sit because $4.50 can't beat it for $50,000 worth of buying power. It's got that tilt. That's all I need. It's worth every penny of that. Starting to push up. Let's be mindful of that overnight high. Again, if we do not get into that opening range, overnight high type move, then we will pay attention to it failing short, in that top end here, that's 796, right? Somewhere around there. Don't get run over at that high, though. Don't look to fade it right off the jump. Let it tell you something. Let it give you a divergence in the delta. Let it give you some information at these levels to want to short it, right? We want to try and take that short. We do. But also, like I said, if we do kind of just tick down and we rotate back up, there is a chance that we do try to clean up that pre-CPI high there. It whipped up, that manipulation up before it gave that dump off, and that went right into one of my liquidity zones right around that 875 level. It's really 870, top end of that tick. So that 870, it's right up in here. This little piece here is that high from that CPI number. So that's where another area of interest will be if we don't fail this overnight high once again, right? If you're going to play a breakout overnight high, target should be at least up into that range, because that'll, we don't have anything else besides this dump off from the breakdown of the bottom. 810, you get into that 810, 870 is a good target. Like I said, we're sitting up 170 today so far. 170. We took one good short here, got stopped out. We missed our fill of our one contract off right down here. Once we started to miss that tick off, we ended up securing that profit above that 775, thinking that if it does what it's doing now, it's probably going to rotate up back to that high, and I'm not willing to risk that. Take my first little profit, start the day green, and then move from there. So we're going to keep going. We're going to be patient, let it try and get up into that range, see what happens at that 813 level. For me, Delta is pretty strong here. It's already trying to push above that high, and we're not even close to it. So if it does approach this high and then you start to get a good push, the breakout of the 813 level should give you a little bit of a pop, maybe at least at 836. And then, like I said, I think that pre-CPI number release area is a good target, and I think that's going to be something that some of these players are going to be looking at getting into. There is some larger order sitting at 792, 793, so watch that. 100 level, 100 lot. Yesterday that tricked us on the way up, right? There was a large order sitting, and then it broke, and we were on the wrong side of it because they kind of almost like they spoofed the order, which you're not supposed to do. Pulled it as we got close to it, and it was a profit taking. Either way, it disappeared right before we got to it. I front ran it a little bit, and it didn't work out. So today I'm going to be mindful of it, see if it gets pulled or if it's going to stay and get filled. So you'll see it on the dome. You can see this auto centering. Where did I see it? Turn off the auto centering. Where's my depth of market here? I have volume profile with my. How do I change the amount of levels? Is there a settings button? There's always little things that I try and figure out with the Top Step X platform and all that. There's just trying to learn new platforms in the middle of a trading day is not for me. I might try to figure all that out once I'm done with today's session. You got the rotation through VWAP, reaccepting above VWAP, got above 775. If we get below again, that potentially leads to that selling pressure, but a hold of 775 could rotate us back to 813 and beyond. So we also just got to wait and see what NVIDIA does, right? Failing that 736 level there. Yesterday's high there, and then they had this big run up through 741 up to 746 2 sessions ago. See if NVIDIA wants to keep its strength, and it has been really the leader and the driver, that and Microsoft. Microsoft has been leading the downside today, so any break in NVIDIA is going to probably rally this whole thing down. So this is actually holding below 775. So the short idea up in that 796, that maybe wasn't a spoof. Somebody probably front ran it, and now it's going to the downside. That's a very strong delta push down. We're going to watch this level here, and they're going to see what happens at VWAP. If we can get another push up to 775, I don't know if we're going to get it because this seems like a very good amount of sellers pouring into this market right there. I didn't see it, but it's 74% short on the tilt, which might mean there might be a buyer here also at some point. 74 is tilty, but also at the same time, there's a good chance that this could roll over based on just why price moved yesterday. I'm going to expect this to hold for now. If that breaks, then could continue down. Let's watch this wedge, see which way it breaks, see if we get a false breakout, rotate back to the downside. Okay, check your spam too. Boom, boom, boom. Gotta check emails, gotta make sure we stay on top of everything. trying to break this low possibly. Get so much spam email. See if this gets a little bit of a bid here. Gets up back to that 775, fails 775, and then you can get that rotation down. This is kind of what we're waiting for to see if anything does happen with it. NVIDIA is still kind of giving you some heaviness here. And then, like I said, Microsoft just pushing to lows. There's 406.18. I said if it doesn't hold, probably rotate down. You got the lows from yesterday, which is that opening, print down here, that 403s. Apple, I'm sure, is also pushing because any excuse, like I said, to sell Apple, it seems like everybody's using that. NVIDIA, though, if it shows any strength, it usually gets us to hold up of late. So that's what I'm watching. Anything that where NVIDIA starts to crack, you'll get that crack here. If not, if you get a push back up above 736.16, then this should probably rotate back to the high end here, right? You can see it pushing above 736.20, 736.16. It hit it, failed it, hit it, failed it. If it pushes up now like it is, possibly get a good rip to that high. That rip to that high gives you into here because all the rest of them are pushing down, right? Except Microsoft just caught a little bit of a bounce at the bottom, and Apple trying to bounce. So you can see how these equity names are kind of pulling this thing, holding it up. That failure of 775 on its own terms is, right, the good trade if you're just trading it without any sort of context. If you look at some of these other names and you can get breakouts in, say, NVIDIA or Microsoft, this is going to be a failed breakdown, rotate higher because these names are so strong. That's what's waiting in this index, right? But if you do get that failure, 736.16, and this breakdown and continuation, then you get that rollover, right? So you just got to be careful, be mindful of what the products that you're trading. I'm focused on this 100K. We are up at 104.815. The passing on that is 106, so we're just under 1,200 away from passing. It's just literally one good trade away from taking this and back to funding and avoiding that FOMO that killed us in that January where we were up so well on the account and then gave it back in 2 shitty trading sessions, right? Today, sitting up 170 on that account, 242 on the other Top Step X account. So we are not forcing anything else in until we can see it happen. Like, I think this is going to kind of push up it to the higher end of that wedge. Then we can see if we get a little bit of a breakout from it based on NVIDIA pushing through that level, right? You could almost, if you're a breakout, a wedge breakout type trader, and you see some of these names cheating here at 7.3, if you have a little bit of you want to try a smaller position, if you want to play the breakout, you get in down here at the bottom end of the wedge, anticipating NVIDIA to break out. You get in, you get on, say 1 contract instead of 2. Now you're really only risking this one little bit. Even on 2 contracts, that's only $200 right there to the bottom, right? So you could even be at break even already on 1 contract, up 300 sitting, and then you could add your second as you get confirmation through your wedge breakout. Then now you have the way to get maybe 1 off at the high there and then see what happens, unless you're looking to build into a bigger position that rotates and hold. That's how you kind of have to start thinking, especially with the futures. You can kind of front run some stuff, but also be careful about getting in on full size, cheating on a move, right? Because you'll be up 300 on a single contract, but if you oversize on a cheat, you could get run over pretty quick. It just makes it a cheaper trade, right? You're managing your risk. You'll be wrong if this low breaks, if the value area low breaks, if this wedge breaks, because it's going to probably cascade down to the downside. However, with the other confluences that you have, you can really get in, take no heat, get that one first cheat either into break even or even into profit. And then if NVIDIA breaks highs like it's doing right now, there's a good potential that this continues to break out and push up to the high side. And now you've already got your first contract on, you're cheated on in, and it's going. However, like I said, you're not going to enter your full position until you get your continued breakout, because if this fails at any point, like it wants to, it's getting heavy, you're getting the delta pushes here, then that's potentially where you're going to end up getting stopped out. NVIDIA breaking highs and the market not moving. So somebody else is dragging us down, maybe Microsoft, not quite playing along. Yeah, Microsoft's just kind of basing here. You can see it's just basing out at the low, potentially looking to break down for another leg lower. And I'm sure Apple also lower. NVIDIA is the only name pushing to highs that's going to be of any worth. Maybe Meta or Google. Goog. Yeah, it's kind of pushing higher. But NVIDIA, like I said, ripping those highs off. Now you're going to get up to that 775 level. Are you going to hold it? Are you going to reject it? If NVIDIA is kind of just ripping, then that breakout here, if any of these other names play out, Microsoft is rolling. Delta's pushing up, price is pushing up. Hasn't really made a nice hard push in the Delta, but you're starting to see it tick up. If it breaks above 775, that could be where you start to see more buying get bid into here because of the selling that came in before, right? So we're just kind of talking through what the ideas are, right? If you're in here and your idea is a long breakout on the continuation play, and you see NVIDIA start to tick up, want to break highs, and you cheat it in at the bottom end here with a smaller size, less contracts than you normally do, you should be at break even with that contract in anticipation that this breakout's going to happen. And it's up to you now. Do you want to play the continuation and add a contract, right, on this confirmed breakout, or wait for a retest, get your next contract on at 775, take one off at 813 level or somewhere at that high, and then see if you can get that full move up, or build this whole contract in, build into your position, and then just trail your stop to secure your profits, leaving on that full size. So there's two different thought processes there, but really with Microsoft and Apple being so heavy, NVIDIA is your only driver on this going to the upside. So yes, I believe that it looks like it wants to continue on up. You got a large order there at 790, so flushed right through it. There you go. There's that push. There's the breakout. NVIDIA is carrying this market to the high side. Microsoft's now starting to turn, so you're going to get some more push, some more momentum up thanks to the NVIDIA strength. And that rally is now going to push on, right? So you cheated in here. You got on a second order, possibly on the breakout. Maybe you're looking to get one off either at the value area high or at 813, and then you can have your add-on at break even. Or if you're in on one from down here, this is on two, you're at 1500, so you're at about $800 on that first contract. The second contract, you're up about 4. So you're about, if you add it on, you're already up about 1200 on this move. If you're looking to take something off at the highs, that's up to you. NVIDIA ran right up to that 741.67 level and sold right from there. So be cautious, but also it could still break that level and continue on. This is why this is slowing down. You can see this started to sell, this slowed down, but now you're getting that push up, that continued strength. You should be able to tick off on that overnight high, and with Microsoft pushing up to that 406.18 level. Microsoft getting close to that 406.18. A breakout from that point is going to get us to rally up through the highs. I think a breakout there will do that. Any sort of failure at 406.18 on Microsoft could get us to start to roll over, but like a fail high, right? Because that's where that key point is. It comes to here so often that, I've been mentioning it for the last week or so, that level has just been in play. 406.18, 406.18 right there. Not on that day because it rallied so high up off of it. but when it came back to it, we played with it a bunch, right? It was a pretty important level. So we're going to be mindful of that level here. I think if it does fail it, you're going to get that rotation down. If it can break through it and hold, then you're going to push up. It looks like it's failing it right now. There's that sell. I don't see the tilt was 62% long. Nvidia still kind of just basing out at that high. I'm not quite convinced of on short yet. Back down through 775. Failed breakout, breakdown. That's my play, right? I'm a failed breakout trader. There's a failed breakdown. Microsoft pushing down. If Nvidia can't hold these highs, then watch out below. Could have caught a 2 guy here and secured one at 75. I want to consider taking a short, but I don't want to get run over right here. Just based on Nvidia's price action. That 793 level, 17,793, important as well. Nvidia's turning. Being patient on this entry. I want to see maybe we get another wick off here and that delta divergence and then tilt get heavy long. Those 3 things right there will get me into this short. But it's got to happen right here at that between 793 and 797. We are holding that opening range low. Never quite made it back to the opening range high, so that's another confluence that we have. Microsoft is tipping slightly to the high side, not much, but and then Nvidia is breaking to the downside, but that could be a liquidity grab, so I'm just gonna be careful on it because this is still holding up. Also, too, if you're looking at this longer term. It's not really that long term. That's a minute candles. Oh, man. Oh, no, that's right. It's a 5 minute. Could stay range bound between here and this 738. But if we do break out from that 793 and continue on, like I said, we have up to those highs. So that's what I'm looking at with these types of moves. We're going to look to see if we get this thing back to 5 minutes. So I can see a little bit more of this move. 1 minute. Alrighty. Just careful here at these levels. Be mindful. Have a plan for it. Break back above that 793, pushing up to the high end. Need Nvidia to help. If it fails that 793 and you get Nvidia to start to roll over, then you will get that follow through to the downside. But like I said, right now we are getting that little bit of delta divergence, which is that first checkbox. We're 71% long, which is another checkbox. Nvidia's flattening out. So if we get a wick here, like a little run up to this value area high at 800, I will look to get 2 guys short below 93. Where's that tilt? Tilt's 75% long. I'm going to take a short here. And I'm going to risk to this area there. I'll take 1 contract off at 775 if I can. Delta was pushing down. Tilt was heavy long. We got to the level that I wanted to get to. Nvidia is now kind of turning upside, so I'm going to get out. I'm going to flatten this. No, I'm going to wait a second. I have my stop at the right spot. If Nvidia fails it here, then this should be that wick off that I got, and then I can get the rotate to the downside. Nvidia's pushing higher. Maybe I'll get my same deal that I got with my stop. There we go. Stops. Working. Taking an outside loss on this one. Didn't really give myself that was the appropriate stop area. I'm just waiting to see if this thing will now accept back into the value area high, 800 level. If that's going to be a failed continuation. Really just based on tilt, divergence, levels, and NVIDIA was trying to fail, but then it also just turned literally as soon as I entered, it turned around to the high side. So that's really kind of what screwed us on this one. Microsoft trying to fail that 406.18 level again, but it's right at it. So we're going to get stopped out on this probably. Yeah, we're stopped there. We're going to wait on this. We're down 5, 6, down 6. I'm still up on the other accounts because I did not take it on both. We had the idea. We talked about why we were going to take that trade there. We got into it. I should have probably got in on a one guy when I'm marketing in like that. I had the 2 guys set up here just to get it. But now the divergence is kind of gone. We did get to that high again. That overnight high tilt is at 80% long. So that short possibly could come in here again. But you got NVIDIA still holding above that next level here. We go. Where's that risk on 2 contracts here? 400. Worth it. It's worth it. That's worth that second shot at it. NVIDIA failed that level that it was at. I'll take one off when I get a chance. Maybe hopefully down in this range here. This zone there. If we can get that one off, then potentially we get to break even on it. It's a free trade. You know what? Yeah, I'll probably get this one off right here. If it does, we failed to get off last time by a tick. Finally, we got this one off. There we go. All right. So now we're going to just move our stop just past break even and see where this thing ends up. This could be one of those moves where we get NVIDIA to start to roll over, Microsoft to continue to the downside. We failed that high. We didn't make new highs. We got to overnight high once again. We tested it. I fade extremes. I fade those highs. We had tilt up at like 80% long. So I could not take this shot here at this one. And hopefully that the one contract now can just roll over and we never look back at our break even. We need to get down below 775, I think, for this to be really confirmed. But we're holding this high here at the moment. If we get stopped out at break even, so be it. That's just kind of how this trade idea works out for me, especially being, we were down a touch. There we go, pushing to the downside. See if that was a liquidity grab to go push even further. 793. If we can crack that little shelf, it should be able to push us down further. You can see the volume area there. Yeah, come on now. Push us to the downside. S&P is holding that 49.97 and 3/4 level on the 30-minute. There's pushing through 793. You're starting to get that delta pushing to the downside. Tilt is still long a little bit, so potentially looking to get some of these people out of the money. We're basically floating at break even right now. If we can get the flush, then everything from here is going to be profit for the day. So let's hope for the complete melt off from NVIDIA. Really, that's all it is. It's basically we're trading NVIDIA here because it's been, no matter what the market's been doing, Apple was dragging down, Microsoft was dragging down, everything was pushing to lows, and NVIDIA just happened to be holding at its highs and trying to break out and carried the market to the upside, right? So now that NVIDIA is starting to break to the downside, you should get the continuation from everything else. Microsoft, Apple, everything else will carry this down. If we get now down below that 775, that is really the sell point for me. This is the false breakout. We'll look at this. We'll hold this here to see if it'll hold that level. I'm going to keep that stop at break even. I'm going to let this thing play and see if I can get some more move out of it. But like I said, really from here, I'm about 1,200 away from passing this. So I don't really want to burn through that. I'll watch for the pass. If it does get us the flush, I think that's down here somewhere. If it makes it there, it makes it there. So be it. I don't need. If I pass the account, there's no need to continue to secure profits, but I will manage the trade as I would like it to be done. I'm gonna move this to break even, really just above the zone here, because if it does break that 793, I think it'll rip right up through the top end and beyond. So we are now below the opening range low. Once again, we wicked the opening range high, overnight high. We're at the opening range low. You could get a bounce from here. I'm not so convinced on a bounce, but we probably will get wicked out if it does. And then if it continues to rotate up, we'll be totally out. But I'll at least be break even on the day with the trade. Okay, so we're even now. Like I said, if we got back above here, it's probably going to rotate up. So I didn't want to get stuck. Down 120. I consider that break even from being down 6. Tilt's getting long again. Heavy long 70%. So down 120. 125. Don't want to miss out. Don't want to be dishonest here. So we took one small winner, one okay winner here, and one oversized loss. Really, that's why we're down at 125. But we are not out of this game yet. We are going to continue to watch, see what kind of opportunities we get. That was a really good entry opportunity to get in. We got one off. We got the second one off. So, if we took 2 off there, you're up, a little bit, but no harm, no foul there. Tilt's getting heavier long, 71%. NVIDIA still trying to push down. So I think that this potentially looks for a short once again. Works as a short. If NVIDIA keeps trying to push to the downside, 793 I said was that point. 793 is that downside. If NVIDIA bounces from here and this continues to rotate up, no worries. But if it fails, and it fails hard, I want to be involved up here. Get one off here. I'm just going to keep kind of working this zone. I feel NVIDIA being heavy and the tilt continuously pushing higher when it's really no reason for it to be pushing higher. I think this thing has room to rotate. We did get stopped out, and you don't have that follow through, and then you do have NVIDIA still trying to play to the downside. So I will give it another go at a short. I'm going to put this above that value area high, and now if NVIDIA does roll, then we should also roll in this, but it's trying to catch a little tiny bit of a bid, but nope, there we go. We're pushing down. Let's get this going. I'm going to trail my stop on this thing and try and secure some profits on it. If it doesn't go fast, this is like a time play right here, because if NVIDIA does catch any sort of bid and start to push up, then I'm going to be out, and I don't want to do that. Come on, push down. Give me that flushy flush. S&P is pushing down. I don't know if it's the leader today, but it has pushed through that opening range low again as well. So watch that opening range low. If we get to that opening range low, we'll really be at break even here. Yeah, push. Okay, we didn't quite get to it, but we're at break even anyway. Just based on NVIDIA bounce. That's so heavy at that value area. I'm going to take that out. Take that out there. Flatten that. Down 95. One more little trade. And we're back into the green and beyond. I think really we're seeing the market. What is that noise? Why do I keep hearing stuff getting canceled? I don't have the copy trader on. It's off. We have no orders. Nothing. We're still up 95. We're down 95. You see that reason I got out of that was due to the NVIDIA bounce. And it's very interesting right now because and S&P's is pushing higher too. It's being very resilient up here for some reason. It's starting to diverge a bit from the NVIDIA. Apple caught a little bit of a little dead cat bounce thing here. But you can see NVIDIA kind of putzing around in these levels. Bouncing on OBS, back connected. Okay, hopefully everything is smooth still. Everybody's on here. Let's see if we can catch that really nice flush on one of these names. You know what I might do? I might put this over here instead of the 30-minute chart. You might just get an NVIDIA. I might just go like this. We'll go NVIDIA. Leave NVIDIA on 1 minute. So now if I flip to the screen here, you'll get NVIDIA. For some reason, there we go. The levels aren't there. All right, my data just dipped on me, so we're gonna reset the platform just to make sure everything is safe. So let's just watch this. Get rid of that. NVIDIA bouncing a bit, but not quite. It's still just heavy. So I'm thinking that this thing is going to stay heavy. 68% long on the NQs, 57% long on the ES. I'm hoping that everybody's green so far on the day. I'm basically break even, down 95. We were up basically break even about 175 or 170 on the first trade of the day. Price is pushing up. For some reason my platform is just not connecting. I don't know if it's there we go. There we go. Getting that up there. I'm gonna keep NVIDIA up on the side here so I can see it better. Every day is an adjustment for me. Don't necessarily need all the other stuff on there. Nope. I just want to see what it looks like. Let me know if you like this better. You get some NVIDIA. There we go. A little NVIDIA action. A little S&P action. S&P's pushing up and Q's pushing up. You can see it breaking that high now. So we got that break of the wedge. It was an actual confirmed break. And now we're rotating through the highs of the day. NVIDIA, you can see NVIDIA here. Trying to rotate up. Microsoft pushing up to that 406.18 level again. See what happens there. And Apple still at the bottom end, but could rotate off the bottom. NVIDIA is my leader. So 813. Only 60% long. 68% long. I apologize. I did say that if 813 did break with any sort of gusto, that 836.50 was probably that first real area of interest, but then into that 870 pre-CPI number level is really what I was looking at there as well. Let's see what happens. Let's see.
Carrying the office on his back. Thank you so much, Obi, for that one. Right now, like I said, man, remember I told you, Obi sitting beside my little Padawan there. Congratulations to Obi as this guy continuing to rock, man, and that's what it's all about. That is the best. Like that's the whole point of real trading, to build traders up, and Obi told me like.
Nothing doing really for me. I'm not a breakout trader, right? So I'm looking for a failed breakout. I'm looking for some sort of divergence here. I'm looking to see if price will get up to that 870 level. And then up in here, that's where I'm looking to possibly short, just based purely off of that pre-CPI number. But if it catches a bid and continues to rally, anything above there could continue to, just get bids involved. That's my thought process on it. If tilt gets really heavy to the long side, I may take a quick little short. Really up and down today, break even at, for the most part, down very small, down 95. Looking to, sorry, I'm not on that screen there. I'm on the wrong one. Anybody else looking to fade anything here. Possibly looks like that could be the case there. It's 68% long. I don't see a reason for anything, but NVIDIA is falling off the table a bit, pushing harder to the downside. NVIDIA outstripped their largest U.S. company by market value. I'm not convinced of this sell yet. Would like to see another little bit of a move up on it. Could be just that failed breakdown here. Watch that 813. We will be mindful of that. We will take this and we'll make this a trend line here. If it's going to be this here, possibly more so. Probably there. That looks better to me. I don't need to go wick to wick. I need to go more so where more touches are involved. The touches are really the more important thing for me. Probably could get a bounce play from that 813 if it does wick into the zone and then rotate up. Very, very small loss on a couple of good trade ideas. We took a really good short on the open. Didn't get filled to the tick on our first take profit, which would have been about 275, and we ended up getting stopped out for 170 on that trail because of what we expected, kind of what happened here. I would have anticipated that to happen if we failed that 75 level right off the jump. So took off one okay trade there. Didn't quite get the move. We got missed that take profit there by a tick. Rotated out, got stopped out for the full position because I trailed on that, and then we got that actual full move there. So overall, that was a good trade. Executed well. We had to manage it the way we managed it, just because it's just how I do it. And we got stopped out there. And we tried another one. We got rolled over on that. And then we took this previous one. The last two were pretty decent winners on fading that higher end. So now we're just kind of being patient. We're waiting. We're watching. See what happens around here. 870, like I said. If it gets through this 36, 870 is that upside target. And also my idea for a short area. I do want to be cautious in that zone because of the possibility of if it breaks that CPI high, then we potentially could continue to rotate to highs and beyond. So that's what I'm looking at with that. But with NVIDIA just kind of diddling in this range here, it's right in the middle of the 736 to 741 range. And it just not going to help us in any direction until it gets to either extreme. Microsoft broke above 406.18 and is sort of holding it. If you get a failure of that 406.18 level, then you can see that there, that 406.18, it's holding above it. S&Ps are rallying, still pushing up to the high side, that 50.15 level above. But right now we're failing this 36 again. I'm going to see if NVIDIA continues to help us to the downside, but it really kind of seems like it's wedging out here. So this, I wouldn't trust this for a short yet. We do have a slight, the delta seems to be the same here. It's only 68% long on the tilt, so the longs are still in the money. They're in from 17,788. So they're in from down here. There's no reason for them to be panic selling yet. The short position average price is 17,799. No, 90. So short and long both averaging from here. So shorts are still feeling the pain, and the longs are in the money. So without a heavy tilt here, you're not really up. You're not upticking that very much. I want to refresh it just to make sure that's correct, but I'm pretty sure it is. Yep. Now they're long from 17,818. So the longs are in long, still well in the money, and the shorts are still out of the money, 827. Shorts are out of the money here. It's kind of just giving you that little bit of a fade, lack of pushing, lack of bullishness, lack of buying. Tilt's getting heavier long. I'm going to try a 2 guy here. Oh, on a breakdown of this. Tilt got heavier long. I'm going to take a quick little risk on that. You're starting to see Tilt push up a bit. I mean, Delta to push up a touch. Nvidia is still like right in the middle of that range, and the S&Ps are just holding. If I can get Microsoft to help me out, looked like it wicked that high there, and prices didn't push up on the index here. So let's see, maybe Microsoft will push down. There's that push up to the highs. Delta also pushing up. So really there is a congruence there. I'm just using this as a failed break to that high side. I want to try one shot at it. There is a bigger order there at 850. If Microsoft continues to push up, then this is going to probably be not a failed breakdown. Nvidia. Oh, we're in short now, so let's see what happens. So if we can get one contract off at the bottom here, we'll be happy. And then we'll at least get one off, and then we can continue to push on. I'm going to trail the tight just based on these equities not quite joining in on the fun. I'm just taking this on the lack of push and follow through this 3650 level, right? It's a place where I think it should have slowed down. I think that we could pull back, time correct into that trend line. So that's why I want to take one off. Maybe I'll front run that even a little bit more right here so I actually can get filled on it. If the short actually does play out, then we'll be, if we break down below 813, then that's even better, right? But I want to get this one contract off at least. We're up on it a little bit there. Let this thing break down a bit. The delta's pushing. Tilt got a little heavy long. That's why I decided to go for it. But now it's kind of pushing down a little, 59% long. And Nvidia pushing a little bit on the highs here. Now Nvidia's popping a little bit, so I'm going to trail this to break even. If we get filled, we get filled on the bottom. If we get stopped out, it's cool because Nvidia is pushing higher, and I didn't like that. I'm out on that, flat. I just really based that trade purely on if it failed here, it was going to fail quick. It didn't fail quick enough. Nvidia started to catch a bid. I got out. So, we take that quick win, $10. So we got another $10 winner there. This could be the failure now, but I'm not going to just jump right back into it. I'm waiting a second. I want to see some more confluence. This is kind of pushing up. Delta did Tilt got a little heavy there on the long side, but it's back to like a normal number, 62% long. So continuation to me is more likely than a failed breakout here, just purely kind of based on everything else lining up. I think that if Nvidia does catch any sort of a little bit of a pop, then we do continue on to that 870 level. But that failure now it's actually coming in a bit. It just wasn't a totally perfect setup. So down 85. Creeping ever so close back to a green day. We were up 170, started the day off good. Then we took a decent loser there, down 6. Then we took a nice couple of good trades, managed them well, got ourselves basically now back to break even. And then we managed that one right there, I think, pretty good. I couldn't stay in that trade very long. Just working. This level here is still holding, flattening out, basing, looking to probably get another pop off on it. Nvidia looking to get to that 741.67 level. You can see that here. I'm going to stop that recording. Stop recording. shot here.
So hopefully that
Take the shot now on it.
we were very worried about Alibaba. In fact,
Anybody looking at anything long, short?
we got out at some of these levels earlier on Alibaba. Worried about this. Only holding that last 10%. So as we go, guys, it is Alibaba. And I am liking that spot.
Seeing this long, kind of building in. You're getting a little bit of a wedge here. Holding this 36.50 level. I think getting close enough to that 70 wants to get cleaned up. I think it really does. I think that there's not like as you approach these certain targets, these certain psychological kind of numbers and levels, that they do end up kind of just getting filled up and played out. But Nvidia is rotating now. Getting a little bit of, it's only 56% long here. You might want to take the breakout of 840. But you're starting to push heavier in the delta. Like I said, I think it was going to correct to this trend line here. I didn't think it was going to time correct. I thought maybe we'd price correct. That's why I took that short there. We got in the money a little bit. I just had to get out, break even, because no follow through and Nvidia pushing up to the high side. Now you're kind of getting that little bit of a rotation down. Be mindful of that little trend line there. We are going to rotate from a volume node here at 830. The next little volume node is at 813 high, but you have this support trend line here now looking to get touched. Possibly could look to rotate that up to the high side. 54% short on the tilt, 57% long on the S&Ps. I don't see it yet. I mean, I did like this idea to kind of play out for myself. That's why I took it that one shot at it, just based on price action slowing down. But I wanted it to get to here at 813, less like, now it's going to get to there. And if that's just a touch and bounce, then you could get that pop through 36 and run up to the high. All these cells are getting bid up on these guys. Microsoft holding above 406.18, so that to me is bullish. Apple still kind of beating down on the bottoms. I don't know. It's very slow chop. Waiting, being patient. Not normally a long breakout type trader, so trying not to do that here. Trying to avoid that attempt at it right here, because Nvidia is at an area where it could bounce, but it also is just continuing to push to the downside. So down 85, nothing that we can't get back, and then some. Like every other day, we do make some nice trades out here. We've called out some really good ones this week, last week. This whole month we've been doing pretty well. We're up about $4,000 on this account right now, 4,500. Looking to get refunded because we decided to be an idiot middle of January and lose our funding. I think you can catch a bounce here. Bounce play. 230. You can risk 230. Softy. Giving you a little pop.
There it is. We put the dollar in our pocket. Like I said, it's not a full position. If this would have been, we would have just walked out of here by now. No, we weren't. We're hoping for more and lower. But again, we missed Uber.
You're getting that delta push.
We missed that early. We were at $1.50. Now we're trying to watch out for
Delta push. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. I'm floating in the red for you, just a little bit. $85 in the red, just to make everybody feel good on a Valentine's Day trading session. Just kidding. We just took a couple shots at a short and up a little bit, down a little bit, back to even now. And now we are looking to see if this tilt will get heavy to short, and then maybe we'll play the bounce at 813. this works, but it doesn't work because I can't quite see it. It goes away every time I click on NVIDIA. After yesterday, I think there are sellers that, any sort of pop here now and they start to see any sort of fade in the market, they may look to start to short. But I do think that this overnight high could act as that support. We got to be careful here. Look to maybe get a wick through it and then, hold it and then rotate back up. Any sort of break above that 830 level again could be that good move. Rotate back up. If you're here, you're risking very little to catch a bounce. Pullbacks seem to be getting paid today. If I see NVIDIA get bid up at all, I may try this bounce play. But it seems like it's not. If we fail this, though, I'm going to look to see this thing hold below 810, accept into this value opening range, and then we can look for the short there. So those are the two different types of plays I'm looking at. Oil draw not enough to offset huge crude build. So oil is going to tank. All right, so there's that actual push to the downside through 13, that overnight high. I want to see it now hold in here. And then if we can hold in here, maybe push back up in through above 813, and then I'll kind of look to sell that thing through the bottom once again. So that's where my thoughts are here. If it's a failed breakdown, then you could look to see a thing pop as well. So failed breakdown, look for a pop. NVIDIA's at a place that's been range bound from, so you could get a bounce in NVIDIA, which could carry this thing right back up through the highs. You can risk very, very little on this to, reward at least to the highs there, which I may do. I may front run this. I'm going to front run it with 1. I'm going to front run it with 1 and see if this will pop. I'm just putting that there. If it holds down below here, my real move, I want to see it short. But I'm watching NVIDIA just to see if it'll give me an NVIDIA move. And Microsoft is coming right back down to that 406.18 level. 406.18 was a resistance area. Now we're holding now. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of this order. My short idea is, I think, going to try and play out. If Microsoft does break that 406.18 to the downside, then we could continue to roll. All right, so now I'm seeing this kind of hold down here. We got the S&Ps also playing along, 793.50, right? That was before. That's the same area that we were looking to short before. So we need to get another, maybe a wick off, push back up, maybe get Microsoft to get a little bounce off of 406.18, push us up to 813 on our end, and then we can look to kind of short this thing back down through the lows. Thinking about a trade, so I'm going to start recording a bit, see if I can do this. See if we can rotate above 13s. That's the value area high as well. If we're going to just hold this area, I'm going to have to possibly look to just get in on a 1 contract on a continuation to the downside. But NVIDIA is giving you a little bit of a bounce, so it could get us back above 813, and then I can wait to get that short. If I get above 813, back into that trend line break there, and then put my stop order down below here, and then hope that we can get a good flush, a hard flush on the next push, because this is not really a hard flush that I want to get involved with yet. It feels like there still wants to be a bit of a bounce. So Microsoft's right at that 406.20 level. It looks like it wants to crack 406.18. It just hit. It could bounce right off of there. Right here, 406.18 once again could give you a little bit of a bounce off of here, or it could give you a hard flush and then the market just continues to follow. But if we get a little bit of a bounce, should get us back above 813. And then, so you can see it's trying to get above it again. You're getting the market to push up a little tiny bit. Just understanding levels, understanding zones, trying to play your move, but at the right time, right? Especially the way I'm so tight with some of my stops. I want this to play out immediately. I don't want to diddle in this and then chop it up and then it run up to the high side. I don't want to give one of these equities a chance to rip me out with a bounce from a support level, right? So I want to get this above 813, get above that overnight high. If I can get there, then I can set my stop down here below this little zone, and then I'm going to try and short that from there and see if I can carry that down through the bottom. Because NVIDIA caught a little bit of a bid too, so I just want to make sure that this isn't a false breakdown of this trend line, and then we can get it to roll over. But there's some wicks here, so also maybe we gotta be below 802. Sell the two there. I would have liked to have been filled up a little bit higher on this, but I'm gonna play it, and I'm gonna be letting the thing rip down. There we go. We're pushing to the downside. I'm gonna get to break even. It's a fast move now. We're gonna trail fast, right? Fast moves, fast trails. I'll get one contract off at the point of control. And then if I get that one off there, then we should be able to continue this down to view out. Look at that thing. I'm just a king of getting not filled on ticks. It's all good. It's just how it is today for me. I'm going to wait for this thing to kind of roll. I'm going to leave the stop here. Initial risk. I want to get filled on that downside pressure. I don't want to get stopped out yet. I feel like this does have some pushing heaviness. NVIDIA is pushing down. Microsoft tried to hold that 406.18 and it didn't. So it's pushing up to it again. So that's why we're getting a slight bounce, but hopefully we can reject it and then rotate down some more because NVIDIA did as well. This is a high volume node. There were some wicks down there. I want to get this filled just above the point of control. Like I said, if I can get that filled there, then we should be able to be break even with one, and we just let this one runner play out. So that's what we're looking at here. Hopefully we can get this thing filled, push to the downside, get some pressure. We didn't get any follow through from that breakout, so that's why I played this. If we do break above here, I'm going to get stopped out at break even. So, all right, we're filled on that one contract. Very nice. Stop loss is going to be just up here at break even, and we're going to see how far down we can take this bad boy. I think maybe now we do get a chance where this thing does rotate fully to the downside. I'm going to let that thing breathe a little bit. I'm not going to, but I'm leaving it at break even, right? I'm not trying to go crazy with it. I want this to break that low. Like you can see, Microsoft did break that 406.18, so it's helping our position to the downside. NVIDIA also right at that support level, but it ticked up above it, and hopefully now we can flush it. So Microsoft is our leader here. Really, really nice short there. I think I have that being recorded. Yes, I do. We'll do a recap video of this later if it does play out to the downside fully. Otherwise, if we get stopped out here at break even, all good as well, because we did secure the profits that we wanted to on that first contract off. Now we're just waiting to see if we can get this thing to continue to push to the downside. Microsoft is catching a slight bounce, which is why this is giving you a little bit of a bounce as well. And that opening range low, I mean, that acted as a good support. S&P's is also right at support at 49.97 3/4. I have my stop at break even. If we don't flush through here again right now, then we will be stopped out. There we go. We're stopped out flat. We gave back about 200, but we're good. Up 180 again on the day. So we went from green to red to green. We are happy with that trade, although I do believe it does have some further room to the downside. So we'll do a trade review on that one, just based on the way price action acted, the reason why I got in and went from red to green. So that's a good one. Now you're getting that good bounce all the way up. Okay, I'll change my P&L from red to green, up $180. Back above the high of the day. High watermark, I should say. Plus $180. That's going to be a nice little green color. We'll select a different green because we're happy with that. Plus 180 here on Valentine's Day. We're no longer red. We look like this thing wants to get heavy again. Microsoft is still pushing down. I think really, as long as this kind of holds here, this is just like a very, very steep trend line here. But you got the breakdown, failed breakout here. Didn't quite, we did take the short up at the top here at 836. I saw NVIDIA catching a bit of a bid, so I got myself out. I didn't want to get stopped out at the highs, risk the full thing. We're managing our risk properly. I'm not a big let it go back on me kind of guy. I want my move to happen at that moment and happen quick. So, stuff like this, where this move happened very fast, that's why I got in and it played out. We never took any heat on it. We got that one contract off where we anticipated it to go, and then now it rotated back. And, a lot of times that's what's going to happen. You're going to get that base hit, and then that one home run will come, or the double, or the triple. And that's what we're looking to see. So happy with that. Back to green, 180. We're going to look to see if we can catch one more. It's all about catching one more. I didn't want to do anything ridiculous. That sat right above VWAP, still holding longs as the bias right now. Still positive, I guess, on the day. Right, opening range. We're actually right at, I guess, a little bit on, almost to open. Oh yeah, Valentine's Day. The wife got me a little red velvet cake. Really nice of her. There's that push down again, possibly looking to be a diverging strategy here. I think Microsoft gives you a little bit of a bid. Pops this off from this level. 93s was that level that we were looking at, right?
I have to apologize for those of you listening at home. There's this voice that I was saying possibly when somebody was there and said the S word, and I have to be careful with that. So I apologize. I won't be doing anything like that anymore. Thank you to Bears. Well, sometimes I'm like, oh man, there goes like that, and then I don't want, because you know what, honestly, it's like we talk so much about the lack of education in this space. The last thing I want to do is
There's a buy signal for me. I think this pops off a little bit. Hey, grab that liquidity at 793. Let's see what happens at that overnight high now. Had to enjoy my next little Valentine's treat. I'm in no rush to hammer into any more position at the moment. I'm going to wait. I'll probably wait till after 10. Our original entry was here. Our stop was above that overnight high. Reasonably, after our first take profit, if you are the kind of trader that would leave your stop, like you took 1-to-1, you leave your stop at that one, turn it into a break-even trade if it does break your high, and then it gives you that bit of pressure. There's that pressure to the downside. That's actually now pushing pretty nicely. Give me like one more bounce up, and then possibly could get that thing short here. I don't want to chase it, but this thing is actually getting really heavy, really fast. I'm going to do this on... I know it's going to go heavy now. S&P's is rolling over. 775. There it is. I'm going to sell one right here. Seems counterintuitive to what I normally do, but that breakdown of 775, that was a really strong push to the downside for some reason there. I will re-enter at 90, the second contract. And we can take profits down below the lows. Oh, that was not what I wanted to do. 775 is my support here, and a crack down below there can initiate some really heavy selling. That's why I took that short at that level. It seems a little counterintuitive, but I think that we got some sell side pressure in us right here. Except Microsoft is catching a bit of a bounce, so kind of just might have fucked ourselves a little bit on that 93. VWAP holding us up, holding us up, holding us up. Not going to add any contracts onto this bad boy. I'm going to let this thing breathe a little, try and play this break to the downside. That 793.50 is the real breakdown point. Short at 62% on the tilt. Let's get this thing to get heavy, get down through that 80s. Do we continue to push? If we continue to push down a little hard now, Microsoft is starting to sell from that 406.18. NVIDIA also right at that level. We added a second contract here, so we're going to have our stop just above there. We're going to take one contract off at the low there, and then we're going to see where we can take this bad boy. If we can break 775 once again, our stop will be at break even at the VWAP. So looking to see if we can carry this through 775. Crack 775, and then we should get the flush to the downside. There we go. Come on now. Give me that flush. Stops at break even. Two contracts. Just past break even, I should say. So I managed that add-on pretty well. I don't mind if this thing stops me out now, because now I went and I took that thing and I got ourselves up to 230 PNL on the day. Very happy with that. That add. I think realistically we should probably continue to flush, but we'll kind of hammered into that trade without a little bit of a plan, so planning out the finish there was good. I'm cool with that. So 230, we're up minus fees. Up 230. There should be the flush coming in now. I just was hesitant to do anything further from not letting this thing. So if it wasn't going to break quick and just continue how it is now, then I was going to be out at break even, like I said. So I got off just a touch on there. We were going to try and take off one at the value area low. I didn't plan this trade out, and I wanted to kind of manage it with that add-on if we did continue to break lower, right? Which we did. Once we broke down through the average cost price, I got to break even. So that was like managing a dumb trade after making it. So I planned out the secondary add in my head kind of as I was working through the position. Yes, it could play out all the way to the downside now, and we would be making money on it. But realistically, it was not a good trade, so I didn't want to make money on it. Right? It was just not a good execution on my behalf. It's not part of my strategy. It was too close to VWAP. Like, there's a lot of reasons. The only reason I took it is because it was a flush of one of my key levels of where I wanted to be short from before. I just kind of hammered into it with one contract and gave it a little bit of an idea. It didn't flush immediately, so yes, it was a trade at a level, but it wasn't what my strategy normally calls for. So don't want to profit off that. You don't want to make money on a bad trade. You want to kind of manage it, cut it, get rid of it, and then figure out what you're going to do from there. So now we're within 5 minutes of that hour. NVIDIA is flushing now, so really this might actually roll over pretty good from here. But we are within 5 minutes of that hourly close, so I'm going to just step away from the computer for a minute. I'm not going to be able to take any trades within the next 5 minutes. So I'm just going to go grab a water and a little bit more coffee, and I'll be right back. So you probably get that flush. Just be mindful of it. One more minute here, and then I can look for more setups. That short did kind of play out there. Just did feel heavy. That was a reason why I decided to take that short, but I didn't want to hold on to a bad idea. We were short from the high here. I just had a feeling that the reason this was going to break was because it was slowing down. We didn't quite get the delta divergence that we wanted. Still had the idea of possibly approaching that 70 level. Didn't want to get run over. I saw on video kind of bouncing. There were a lot of things that were going to keep me from staying in this trade up here. However, look at that rollover. That's a really, really, really nice move. And there would have been not many reasons to kind of trail yourself out once you get that first contract off. With two, that first contract off there would have been at the bottom of this. And then if I would have been at break even after that, then we would have been able to trail almost candle to candle and never have been stopped out, right? Oh, there's a flush down. All right, so let's be careful here. Could rotate all the way to that overnight low. 104.823. Heavy downside.
All right, let's go what's for lunch right now. We're gonna have a salad, but this is very important. This is a very unique day as our breaks 125 and we're quite happy right now. Today is something I've never told you guys before. Ever on the show. Man, Egyptian sensational right here. I like it.
Looking at a video 724.52. Microsoft holding up a little. If we can rotate down further on on Microsoft, then you're looking at this thing way down. Even if you played this breakdown here, that was a really good move. Mm-hmm. So these trends have been breaking. We're going to be not getting in front of this or trying to continue it on. We're in between some ranges here. I'm going to look to plan out a bounce possibly or look for a bounce and a flush. The 17,700 level is probably a really, really good spot to look for some sort of bounce. However, it may also be looking to be a good spot for continuation. It is very, very, very heavy. We're still waiting. We're waiting to see what kind of plays out. 700, like I said, could be the bounce area. That's where I have a bounce. Serious support from here. It was an overnight session. Got to here. Rotated up to it. Came back. Broke out. So we had that little, not cup and handle, but you had a little bit of a momentum play there. Now if you get the same deal on the other side, 700 crack below, could get that continued momentum down to 669. But that bounce from 700 could be considered valid as well. So this is all I'm looking for. I'm going to tell her this. Nobody, no trades, nothing doing.
Let me just take you through this AAPL trade because while we're still holding this bad boy, and we were just like a second ago, $1 in the money on this monster. Look, I always start trading right before the show, so we obviously didn't take this apple from the top from that 185 down. So when I saw this one pop back up, and then I saw the makings of a new lower high over here, I started salivating. No, I'm kidding, of course. But the idea here was to wait for that move down. It popped up. It tried to make a new high, but then the market said, no, you don't. Brought it back down. So now we have a lower high. And then it tried to pop up again, but the market said, no, you don't again. And that's when I said, okay, here comes the making of another lower high. Let's get short. And we've been basically taking this one all the way down through the break of 183. I really haven't been timing Apple today with the Apple's week. We have new interest rate
Nvidia caught a little bit of a bounce. Still just kind of waiting. I know this is a slow day, Valentine's Day. People maybe not out on screens as much today. However, we are looking to see maybe we get a bounce off of Nvidia after the 727 level there, or if it's going to continue to flush through it. Maybe waiting for this thing to push down again one more time. I want to get to 700. If you get that close to a round number, I want to get to it and see if I can get a divergence and a bounce. That's really what I'm looking to play off that. Being patient on it. Obviously, you don't want to just get in front of this and try and catch a bounce off of that right, V bottom type. I want to see if it'll develop some sort of high or low, maybe even wick off the bottom. Try and get some more shorts involved if it's going to do a bounce. So we're going to just be mindful of it and see what happens there. So we are getting a little bit of bounce. Sorry, I had to send an email there real quick. Slight bounce. Nvidia just gave you like a little wick on the bottom here at 727. And now it's kind of pushing back up a little bit. Could spell that this doesn't quite even get to 700. I mean, I thought that was a good target for the downside pressure. Would have liked to have seen that overnight low get taken out. Still, there's potential for that. If we get back up into that 775 area, I would consider a short from there. I was looking for a long from 700 if we wicked the bottom and got a delta divergence. However, right now I don't see that being the case. So if we do get up to 775, I'll look to short that area again. Anywhere from 67. You can see this volume area here. But also, like I said, I don't just set limits and then walk away. I want to see this thing continue to push and give me a setup. Right, this here, I get rid of this. I have to, like I mentioned, this weekend's going to be a cleanup of some levels. You can see why I extended that. It was a breakdown point from previously, from that 75 down to here. This is a longer term, bigger, wider, yet that yellow range there, the big one. That's a longer, not that long because we haven't been at these levels for that amount of time, but you can see it's back a little further than just pretty recent. So I want to see this thing kind of continue to just creep up, get to a spot where people would like to short it some more. up into that range there and see what happens, because that could be, a good reason sitting down below VWAP. Not that I'm shorting VWAP, but as my strategy calls for fading extremes, the first target's usually 2 VWAP. I want to fade this 775 just purely based off of the amount of times that we played it yesterday and eventually working out. So I want to try and see if we can get back to that level again and get some fills on there. That VWAP above us will kind of hold us down too. So I believe that that's a good reason to continue this down to the short side. We should kind of be staying within this range for a bit also. I don't think it's going to like blow through the bottom too hard. Nvidia pushing through again through that 727. Microsoft pushing up. So we got a divergence there as well. Waiting. Waiting. Waiting.
But that's not what we're looking at. We want to see volume-based stuff. Volume-based indicators, they consider the amount of shares being traded alongside
Cleaning crews. We're just waiting to see if this thing will pop up into that 775 level there that I want to short once again. It's just I need to get up into those ranges. I can't just short from the bottom. I can't do that. And our delta's pushing up. Price is pushing up. We're kind of confluent at the moment. There's no divergences. Tilt is 50-50. I'm not getting a ton of information. It's a slower day. Valentine's Day, I guess. Price isn't like excited to go run around and do crazy things, especially after CPI yesterday. CPI was my shit paused. CPI pushed us down pretty hard yesterday. We got a little bit of a bid up, and now we're selling off once again from above those, right up near those areas. 835. We got up to 836, 840s. So we got into that range and then sold off. Patience pays. Patience pays. So we're looking to see if this thing will push up a little bit further. This zone here was the breakdown from previous. I just drew it up. I didn't just draw it up. I just extended it. There's too much going on for me with the levels and stuff. So this weekend, as we close on Friday into the weekend, I'm going to delete all these levels, reassess my zones, and then go back to the drawing board. Not because it's not working, right? We're still green for the week, right? We'll go to our trade performance, and we're going to go for the week. Last 7 days on this account, you can see we've been doing pretty well the last 7 days. Went a little bit into drawdown, and now we're back up into this range here. Not so shabby, up $2,800 some odd dollars for the week. So, doing pretty well. We're looking to see if we can continue that momentum. I just want to kind of clean up my charts. I don't like having too much going on. I understand the information, but even for the stream purposes, I want to be able to simplify things as much as possible for people, have them understand what I'm looking at, what I'm thinking, where I'm at. So we are looking to, just clean it up a little bit. That's just my thought on it. I think it might not make it up into that level there. All right, get up in that area. If we can push up, you get some buyers that get a little overexcited thinking that the price is going to push up. Get us right up closer to that area, 775. If we can get near it, 60s something. If we could see the divergence prior, then we'll take that short. But right now we're just being patient, waiting, seeing where we can go from here.
with prices. Let's have a look at the daily chart on this bad boy. As you can see here, we've been obviously putting in lower highs on the on-balance volume. Again, you can do the same thing with OBV that you do with RSI. Look for price, OBV divergence.
61% short. Still not convinced to get in it, but it is ticking up some volume. There is some pressure coming in right here. 15-minute, I guess, candle close, so maybe you're going to get some people trying to get involved short here.
Look for divergence here. It could signal an end to the trade. So the same thing that we do for RSI price action divergence, we can do for on.
This could be that
The other very interesting
diverging
volume indicator is accumulation
piece here for a long, unless it cracks here and just continues on. We could look to see if we push lows like I anticipated and then flip that 700 up, right? If we make that new low and delta's way up here, that flush of 700 could give us that indication to push up higher on this. But with Microsoft and NVIDIA still kind of doing their thing, pushing to the downside, then we don't necessarily have that confluence to to jump in front of this thing, right? I was considering this as the short area here, but I didn't want to stray away from the plan that I had of getting it up a bit higher. Got to stick to some of your ideas. I was thinking long by 700, short up by 775, but right now NVIDIA is just melting. Microsoft. Well, it's holding up and now it's selling down below 406.18 again. I know I have that divergence here, right? You have the delta up here and price is down here. If I can get tilt to be, if we get into this yellow zone, I can get tilt into the 70s, mid 70s, something. We can maybe get that bounce here, but I'd really need like Microsoft and NVIDIA to play along a bit. Apple giving you a bounce. Okay. Okay. Did make a new low. Didn't get that whippy action though for a stop run. Give me that one more push. One more push to the downside. Whip it down. Get into that yellow zone there below 700. We'll try and run a W to that high side there. So we're going to talk that through. Let's see if we can get what we were looking for to play out here at that 700 level. We got NVIDIA pushing lows. You got price pushing towards the lows, but you got delta divergence. Buyers are stepping in here. Sellers aren't piling in. I want to see maybe I wanted to get this thing down lower. I wanted to get it below 700 and then get a manipulation type candle before I decided to rip it to the high side. If it turns on me now, it turns on me now. That's not a big deal. I also wanted to see tilt get around 70% short, but right now it's 50-50. 46 to 54% short. I think we can get that next little pop down here. If we do get a push through this little bit of a divergence though on the delta, then this trade kind of gets invalidated. NVIDIA is bouncing. It might carry us up right now instead of giving us that chance to get that thing below 700. Microsoft helping us out a little bit, pushing down, but below 406.18, still holding below it, I should say. This could just be a bounce flush, just with the heaviness of the market. So that's why I wait for, especially on like a trendy move like this, I don't just set an order to just get in at that level because potentially, you're going to get that lack of follow through and then you're going to get a dump right to that overnight low. These are things that I'm paying attention to. You're getting another push up. If this is another lower high, you can possibly see this thing start to wedge down. If this is wedging up, then whichever way it breaks, you got to be paying attention. 61% long. Yeah, so it's like very wishy-washy flipping. I don't think it's time yet to take any sort of trade. We did wick the bottom. Not a hard wick, but we got some two tweezers, tweezer bottom here below that previous low, and now we're rotating up. you could make even on that little bit of a bounce. One contract that's 345. But realistically, to me, I with the heaviness of this, I wanted to see that one more push down. Nvidia popping up. Pushing down now. 60% long. Still up higher up on that delta. Not really heavy lows. Yeah, missing entry. Did you take any trades at all? Did you get it filled on anything, or you just flat completely? I missed exits by ticks, and then this trade here, it's not actually playing out the way I really would like it to. It's still super heavy today, so trying to counter trend this or play the bounce off of the reversal pattern is difficult in this kind of momentum. Yeah, same. I'm up, but only because I've managed other moves pretty well since I shorted that high up there, and I stopped myself out at break even based on how Nvidia was acting, and then right after that started to melt off, and then maybe I was 1, 2, 3 minutes early on that move there, right? And I considered it again. I said, oh man, Nvidia's starting to sell. We could probably get this thing to roll over. And I just said, nah, I'm not taking it. And then I waited till it got down here and took portions of it as I moved down. So that's really what I saw. Yeah, it happens. Still time in the day. I think this is kind of setting up for something. Which direction it decides is still yet to be seen. It seems like short is obviously the answer, but with Microsoft is holding like this little pattern here. Oh, let's see. Microsoft is holding this. Nvidia giving it a little bounce, so possibly looking to get all of these things to continue to bounce off. I thought that this would get a little lower into that 700 before I could get long, and now it seems like it's catching that bid. So you missed that initial little quick push, and then it is what it is, right? I'm expecting this to probably wedge out some. He'll probably base in between these two for a bit before it does make a decision, but we're waiting.
Which is obviously potential accumulation, while falling momentum might indicate fading the buying or rising selling pressure, which is obviously you guessed it, distribution.
Oh yeah. Since you guys are members of Tradecaster, Deck is giving away those little giveaways. So you'll get a free month, all like the Trade Zealot and stuff, all like that. If you didn't see it on my Instagram, go over. I think yesterday's story should still be on there. If not, I'll share it again. You get a huge bundle of free software and stuff for a few months, discounted other things. So check out what Deck is offering. It's a pretty good deal. Yeah, you front ran that way. So you did. So you're in 706. That was a smart spot to get in, right? Front running that. 735 and a quarter, 3/4 is at a 30-minute level, so it's above that. It's holding. That's what this is here. Yeah. It's nice on 1 micro. $70.
Price action, but make sure that the RSI is also making higher highs. If it's not, they are diverging, and that could be a signal for impending distribution. And also look for confirmation with RSI. So RSI is dipping.
Man, I saw this coming. Once I saw these tweezer bottoms, I was so tempted to take the long, right? I'm like, all right, this is going to be where it's going to happen. It was just so slow, so draggy. I thought maybe, all right, we're going to wait a couple minutes. But now the short idea is still in play where I want to short that 775. Anything between 67 to 75 is that range where I want to try and get short from. So I'm not going to get myself stuck to 775. although I do think that it is a good level, but just based on the way the price action acted overnight and pre-market, I think 65 to 75, that 10-point range there should give us, right here, should give us a sell. Yeah, bro, wild. I'm glad you got one on. I see this thing push up higher. Get me up into there. That's 67 to 75. Then I need to get a divergence on it. I need to see what's going on. I need to get heavy tilt alongside. Something to tell me to get this thing short. If it's going to run us over, then I don't want to be involved, right? If we're going to get here and just burn through it, then why would I set an order here, an order here, and then get burnt out? I'm up on a day where I've seen all the moves happen, and I just haven't got myself completely involved. I don't want to give it all back and go back to red on a day where I've kind of grounded out. My executions aren't 80 plus, and I'm still up 230. So, there's not like a real rush to kind of push this move, but I would like to get into there, set it up short, and then rotate it back down, and then see what happens, in that range there. But like I said, it's got to get in between this zone here for me to consider it. VWAP aside, the only thing that VWAP here is going to help me with is that if it holds below it, then the shorts should still continue to pile in. You get a bounce here at the bottom like we got here. You rally up, come up into here, get a little bit of a rejection, and then rotate to the downside, sort of like how we got a huge rally here, chop and roll. Probably not going to get a huge rally. You might not even get that full into 67 or 75, but because you do have all this liquidity here, right, this whole range. So if it does sell from here, it's not unexpected. This really is right at the bottom. There's a tick there. So it's this here is a liquidity zone. So selling from there isn't a bad idea. However, that's not where I wanted it to be. I wanted to maximize my ability to say I'm going to be wrong above this level. So I'm minimizing my risk, and I'm not going to take a trade until I get to that spot. And that's how you just minimize the risk. And if you get run over, you get run over, but at least you're still giving your trade a better opportunity to succeed, right? I'll worry about this later. Still pushing up. Still looking to get this thing to get into that range there. It's not a huge range. It's about a 10-point range, give or take. There is a high volume node there at 80. So it could even push up into that 80, which would be actually ideal, right? If you get a wick, get something that looks like these tweezers down there. Up here, I'm going to short down through that zone and then see if I can catch the rest of the move. Overnight lows would be nice, but I'm not needing to get that far. I'm just shy of 1,200 away from regaining my 100K account and getting it back. So, 1,200 from in this area is right around here. So I wouldn't even need to get the full rotation. I'm just trying to talk through what I believe my hypothesis is for the trade. And if I was not worried about profit targets on it, then I wouldn't care how far down it goes. I would love to get it to just melt all the way, and I really anticipate a failure here. And if you can get the breakdown of this level, then 669 should come into play for that overnight low, just cleaning up a lot of this mess that came up from last night. We came close enough to it where I think we should probably clean it up, especially since we cleaned the overnight high up and then rotate it back down. And we're in a heavier market. We're in a shorter term, downtrend. Haven't quite. We did break the hard push down yesterday, but at the moment we're not quite, rotating higher to make this an uptrend yet. It is slightly because we made a higher high on that previous push down, but I don't trust it until it gets above that 870 CPI number for it to be bullish again. If this is going to diverge here at this level, then the short could come into play below 45. but I'm not gonna front run it. I'm gonna be patient and wait. Patient, patience, patience. That's all I could ask in this kind of game here. We are up on the day, right? So we're good. Up 280 to not 80, 230. 230 line. Up 230. Sitting here, waiting, being patient. Seeing if we can get ourselves up into that zone, get that second push up. I want to get the tilt heavier long, get it up into that 78, 75% long on that tilt meter. Get a little bit of a divergence here on the delta, maybe rip a high and then not quite make a new high on the delta. You saw that divergence here to get us that long, right? You got a higher low on the delta, pushed a new low on price. Really, I just probably should have shot my shot at it right there where I was talking about it. I just wanted it to flush 700 first. Now we're looking to see if this will get up into here, into that area, make that new high, maybe get through VWAP up into that 80, give yourself a wick off top here, and then try to push it again and fail it. And then that failure will be my short idea from that zone.
And last but not least, keep your eye out for false divergence signals. So be cautious and look at the confirmation from other indicators and price action.
Come on now. I want one more push up. Give me that one more push up. NVIDIA basing out. You can see it. Rolled over, pushed up, based out. If we could push up into that level here, that's 728, 727, up to 730, that could get us up into our short zone, and then potentially could short NVIDIA from there as well, because that's a very, there was a lot of sellers in there yesterday from that spot. So we'll just be mindful of that 730-ish level for NVIDIA. We are pushing up, getting closer to that sell zone that I have my idea from. It was resistance, support, broke down, resistance, broke up, support. It's that level was a short yesterday, a really big short for me. So we could see if we can get the same deal happening today. You're getting pushing higher. So the delta is pushing in the same direction as price. So right now I'm still not ready for the short. If it sells off here, it is what it is. It never made it to my level. And the delta didn't really diverge. So kind of just tells me that price wants to continue on and at least try and tickle off on VWAP. Microsoft still holds above 406.18. It is towards the higher end of the little channel that it has going on for the day, so it may give a little bit of a selling pressure from there. So if we can push up one more time, maybe Microsoft plays along, gets up to like 407, and then sells off from its highs. And then NVIDIA also, I would like to see it get up to that 730. It's really close to 7. OBS likes to disconnect and reconnect, so hopefully I'm still around. 72% long on the tilt. I think if we get another break above, we'll probably get that tilt up into that 75 to 80%. So if we get that tilt when we get up here, I think we can get that short to come into play here. 75% tilt to the long side. Come on now. Get up one more little leg. I need one more leg up before, but it might not happen. It might just tilty sell from here. This piece there, that bottom of 58. 760 was, we had a guy in here yesterday. I forgot who it was. I think it was Jeffy or whatever his name. I think it was Jeffy. He was shorting that 60 level a bunch. And that's where our short came in yesterday. That was our really good sell. Our best play of the day was that short from that 760 level. So I want to watch that as well. But I think we could pop into that VWAP. But I'm not setting orders up there until I get confidence, right? See, this is the same type of deal that happened right here. You see it get up there, a nice little run up, and then it starts to slow down, get up in there, and then rotate it off. So I'm looking for a very similar type of price action. Get up in there, maybe get that one extra little wick off, which is not this one. Maybe one more better one than that. push up into there, get into that zone, and then just hammer the short and just see if I could get, some of the contracts, put 2 on, get 1 off, and then see if I can get that last little sell piece to finish off the day. Let's see what happens. We're going to approach this. I'm going to record from here, see if we can do a review on it if we do get up into that area. The tilt faded off a bit, so it went from 75% long to 67%, but right as it got to 75%, it sold off a little bit, so you're at 1, So we're going to be mindful of that. If we get up into that 75% tilt, if we're in here, 75% plus, that could lead us to the downside. Nvidia still pushing up a little bit, trying to get to that 730-ish level. Microsoft pulled back a bit towards that 406.18. Not quite there yet. If we push up higher and then Microsoft starts to pull down, then the breakdown of that 406.18 finishes this off and pushes us to the downside. I need that one more leg up. We're right at that 1760. I think that 60 level might be our play. You can see price slowing down. I want to get that wick up to that 67. Only 66% long, so not super heavy. When I get that thing up into that 67 to 75 level, you're getting this little slowdown in price. Delta's flattening out. If the sell comes in now, so be it. I'm not going to be having FOMO on it, but just want to kind of talk through why I'm seeing what I'm seeing and then where I can go from here. I think a failure of Microsoft to the downside should get us to continue to push up. Push down, and there's that little bit of a flush down from 60. 66% long. This could be manipulating people in from the shorts. But you're getting Delta starting to push down too. So Microsoft pushing towards that 406.18. We couldn't get ourselves involved in this short, possibly. This felt like somebody was getting manipulated into the short. Only 59% long, so you're actually getting Delta to push accurately, congruently with price here. So we're flat, price is flat, Delta's flat. If you get a pop up, Delta pushes up, then we can possibly get ourselves that setup. I think Microsoft wants to give up. It just feels like everything wants to get heavy. Nvidia is within the bottom end of that little resistance area, so it could give it that sell pressure. We're not quite getting up to that 60. You see the same setup here. Higher, a little bit of a push up, then you push down. That was this push down here. You pop back up above the level. That's that 60 level there, and then you rotate back to the downside. So possibly that push up above 60 on this push, and then maybe one more little candle here, and then you could initiate that sell side if the tilt gets a little heavy, or if Microsoft starts to push down hard. So that's kind of what I see as far as this setup here being similar to how this is playing out right now. Unless this is going to be manipulative and get us into our zone, that'd be beautiful. Can't go wrong if it gets into your zone. But it did almost exactly what it did there, right? So then you might get one or more 2 ticks up, and then you might get the sell here, and then you're not in the trade, and that's just being patient, letting it happen, because I don't want to get in now, and then it goes into the zone where I'm at, and instead of that being my entry, I'm getting stopped out at that area, and it's blows up your trade idea, right? So we're limiting risk. We know where we're wrong. We want to get as close to where we're going to be wrong as possible. Wrong to me is above 80, but realistically, I would like to see it get to 80 and then fail it, and then we can rotate down, and we can use just a quick trailing stop to get out. It's too slow. Too slow right now. It's just not getting there. You see this exact setup here? Slight little rally up, a little higher lows, a little bit of wick off top, playing with the level, and then melting, pushing up. A little wicky here above that high from there, playing with the level. Delta's flat. If you start to get a big push in Delta, or if you get Microsoft to roll, or if you get Nvidia to push down, then that 60 is going to play as the short location. And I'm not in that camp of trying to front run my zone right now because I haven't been able to execute properly. So I want to keep my discipline, talk through my plan, let it play out, get up to the zone where I want it to get to. And then if we can, then from there, we can get our short. If we don't get involved in it, it didn't get to our spot. We didn't limit our risk enough. So there's no reason to get involved. Because right now, if we do get in and we get run over, like I said, at VWAP or something because price just wants to run there, then that's just what happens. Now we're starting to push up. So we got to 67. There we go. But now Delta's pushing in the same direction. So I'm going to see what happens here. I need to see it get into here. Give me some sort of indication that it wants to turn around. I need tilt to get heavier probably. It's around 69%. 71's ticking up. If we can get up to 75% short, 75% long, then this short could come in. Let me see what NVIDIA is doing. NVIDIA is pushing right to that 730. So could rotate it now. Short to 60 level. I'm going to put the stop below 60. And if it fails here, then I'm good with it because it went up to my level and now I have a high on that wick off. I would like it to push up one more time, not trigger me in yet. But if it does trigger me in, I want to get in and kind of get out, kind of get that one contract off down here, and then see if I can get this thing to play out to the downside with a little bit of confidence. Microsoft wants to push. We're in now. We're short from 60. Let's see if we can get the flush here from 60, just based purely off of that. Getting to our zone, failing it pretty easily, and now we're rotating down. This could be the true push down this time, right? Because of the very similar setup we had there. I talked through why 60 was probably a level, and we got to our zone. It gave us that idea of shorting it from there, and we have the wick off. If we get stopped from it, so be it. But Microsoft's now pushing down towards that 406.18, and Nvidia also trying to roll over a little bit too. So I want to try and get this one off down here at the bottom, and then if I can get that one off, then we'll be pretty happy with the day so far. Up 440. If we can get this thing to roll, there we go. We're pushing down. We got our short in. There we go. Let's go. I like to get this thing going, baby. I'm gonna keep the stop above 60 on this. I'm not gonna go to break even yet because I think 60 is the line in the sand. So let's see if we can rotate this down. We are 105, 270. I got 8. Oh, man. I might have to take profits on this, even though I want to see how it rotates. Oh, baby. Let's get it. Come on now. Rotate down. I'm going to put the stop here, and now whatever we get on the downside, we get on the downside. We should be able to get this thing to continue to rotate down. Fill us up, baby. Fill us up. Let's go. I'm going to secure a little bit more profits on it. We'll secure a little bit. The monster is back from his ninja class. So we got a kid here. We got the price moving in our direction. We waited for our short to happen. We confirmed on it. Just you. Look at you. We confirmed on our short. We waited for our position. Everything happened exactly how we wanted it to. Now we're just banking on the short. Let's go. Come on, baby. Let's go. Come on now. Flush this. Flush this low. If we can get down, we can get our 100K account back at least, and then we'll be happy for the rest of the week. If we get stopped out above this zone, it's fine. I'm just kind of letting it bounce around a bit. I want to see if I can get it to flush even further. If we get stopped out, cool. No worries. And we're out flat. Okay, awesome. Went from 870 on the day. Let's go. Come on now. Stop recording that, but beautiful. It's probably going to continue to flush down, but I had to secure that profit there. Let's get it. Come on now. Another Good day. Enzo's at school, buddy. Oh, man. What? Hopefully you saw that, Ray, or anybody else watching. That's how you wait for your confirmation and then take that short. Realistically, this should rotate even further down now. I secured my profits on it. I can't be mad at catching 870. Talk through that whole entire thing on why I saw 860 as the level. That slowdown in price, that build up, almost exactly the same setup as we had up here. We had it here. I wanted price to get to that 67 at least before I considered taking the short, which it did. I think it's going to continue to roll over. But realistically, I had to secure the profits just above this zone. That is my liquidity zone. If it decides to bounce and rotate from here on a V, I don't want to, give back much more. Took off our first one right here at the bottom. Took off our second there. We're up 870 on the day. That's going to be it for the day for me. What do you got? Valentine's Day. You just made this? You made this?
Yeah.
All right. Max made me a nice heart for Valentine's Day. Woohoo. Very cool. Thank you, buddy. So we got a good trade. We got a Valentine's gift from our little guy. All good. Oh, another one. Look at that. You made this?
Yeah, an owl.
An owl? Look at that. An owl. Can't go wrong with that. I love it, buddy. We got happy kids, good trades. We were very patient, waited for our setup, caught the move. Realistically, I feel like now that we did get to there, excuse me, I'm gonna sneeze. Sorry, I don't have a mute button. I gotta find where that is. But we got the push down, bounce at 700. We were talking about going long here to rotate the VWAP. Got that exact move. I thought 75 was going to be a short level. Realistically, price started to slow down at 60. I started to talk about how price was slowing down at 60. We're going to take the short if we get into the zone at all. We got right into the zone by a tick. I set my stop order just below that 60 level because if 60 was going to fail, this is the kind of move we wanted to catch. I gave back about $150 because I was gonna put it down below here once we flushed, but once we started to get a bounce, I wanted to see if we could hold below here. We didn't, and now we're kind of rotating back up. So we caught as much of the move as we were possibly gonna catch, unless we had just a trailing stop like to the tick. But I don't do that. I kind of want to let it get a little bit more room because realistically, I'm just shy of just over $500 away from getting my 100K back. So we're up 5,454 on this account over the past few days. So gotta be happy with that. Very consistent, very patient, limiting our risk to the downside. All these things is what I try to do, try to preach, try to, not rush into a trade, let it play, let it set up, give yourself the opportunity to limit your downside, right? We limited our risk and then we rotated it to the other side. So I'm going to make actually a video because Dex showed me a quick couple of tricks on I'm going to review this video after I get off my stream, try and set up a nice little education on why I waited so long on this when my anticipated short zone was at 775 and why that was my short zone as well. So really, really happy with that move. I think maybe we probably do continue down below 700 based on price action. However, we do have a little bit of a, slight little bit of a wedge, not a wedge, but a support going on here. Nothing like very significant. Could push to here. It's more of a zone. I think a lot of these are zones. So, maybe it's holding that area. But realistically, another rotation down through here should get you to rotate to 700. And that's just kind of the way you have to think, and then maximize your profits as you go. If I'm trading more than 2 contracts, maybe I take one off here at the bottom, and then I let that one runner stay at break even, and then continue to rotate it down. I just don't trust a lot of the moves lately, especially in the NASDAQ. Like some of these pops are sort of ridiculous. So I just try to make the most educated choices at these zones and then go from there. So Today was a good day. Another good day. Up 870. I didn't update my little. Oh no, I did. I updated it.
You have a pizza. You have a pizza.
Oh, cookie.
Cookie heart.
A cookie heart.
It's a pizza.
Did you make this?
Yeah, put pizza.
Pizza. It's
Yeah,
a pizza. Pizza heart.
So that
It's
is
got
your
pepperonis.
So
It's
that
got
is-
olives.
See? You have a pizza.
Where'd you get that?
Pizza.
Oh, right. You have a pizza, my heart.
Oliver.
You are the best Valentine ever. You and Enzo are awesome.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Mwah. Say hi to the people, and Maximus. Say hi. Say hi. Say hi.
Say
Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's.
Yeah.
I want to get off.
You want to get off? All
I
right.
want to get off here.
Max Black kiss.
Nah, he's good.
Like that.
Mwah. All right. I'm done in a couple minutes, okay?
Okay.
And then we'll hang out for a couple. All right. Thank you for closing that. I'm going to eat the pizza your heart. I'm done for the day. I'm going to stay on until 11 because that's what my stream schedule does. If anybody ends up coming on, wants to talk about trades, wants to review anything I do. I think reasonably speaking, what I did wrong in January, on the not only with those 2 days, right? I'm kind of talking to myself, but I was only entering in on one contract, being very cautious, being very standoffish, and my winning days were not as big as they should have been with one contract, and especially with the size of the account. I limited my downside a lot. I did a really good job, but when I use multiple contracts, I'm able to shed position size as price moves my way, and that helps me limit my downside and also helps me secure profits as I go. So when I switched back to going to multiple contracts, that's when I started doing a lot better. I was in the mindset of doing that, and then once you got funded, you're like, I gotta stay, standoffish, keep the account. And I think there's times to do that, and there's times to not do that, and really honing in back in on my loss limits and my losing streaks, really, and then adding that second contract in and just sticking to that. There are times where if I'm in drawdown or if I'm at a position where I'm not quite certain it's going to play out, I'll go in with one and then I'll add another as I go. But having that second contract on for me really helps me it's kind of counterintuitive. It helps me limit my risk because I can get off some profit and then let the rest of the trade try and play out. So that's what's kind of this time around where it's a lot better, a lot more adjustments being made. I'm just drawing this up for reference. Pushing up now once again, so you're never really going to bottom tick unless you have a take profit there. And what's the reason that you have a take profit there other than that was the low of the breakdown that I just drew, extended from a couple sessions ago. I didn't really have much significance to the zone except for this here and this here where it was support. So we did flush it. So if it decided to come back up like it does right here, then it could rotate back to highs, and that's what I was looking for. So just overall, really, really happy with that. I can't be mad with a day where you're making $870, right? Reasonably, we're going to try and get this thing funded by tomorrow. Not going to force anything in, not going to try to get it just to get funded, and I'm not going to change the strategy too much where I, take off that second contract or something. I mean, I could really go one contract and make the 500 and be done, but I need a bigger move out of it than I would if I just had my two on and got them off when I needed to. So just going to kind of stick to the strategy, especially just to help you guys out with your funding and just trying to teach you how to manage positions as I do. I have two Top Step X accounts that I am up to 40 in today. I only made one trade on them, so I didn't really want to. I don't like to separate my attention. I'm going to focus on this account. I'm going to make money on this account, And then as I go, I'm going to start trading the combines on Top Step X, and then get those funded. Those are smaller accounts, those are the 50K accounts. I think Top Step, although they're letting us have 5 combines here for $4 and change each, which is a no-brainer. I got to take all 5 of those and take them. I think I can only stay funded in 3 of them at a time. So if I pass 5, then I'll just leave the other. If I have the 100K and 250Ks in the Top Step X, then I'll save that next those other ones to pass when I need them. Because at the end of the day, if you're taking profits, taking withdrawals, at some point you might hit a drawdown period, and then you're gonna need new ones, like we did last month, where I was, up over $1,500 on the account, and then decided to have really 2 stupid days. So we're trying to eliminate those stupid days, grow as a trader, grow as a streamer, grow as a community, and then go from there and be just better off for it,
So what I'm looking at right now is the similarities or lack thereof between some of them. And I see some similarities here between Tesla and Amazon. So Amazon
Can't be mad at an $870 day. One more day closer to regaining all that money back and then some. And I have a few ideas in the works for the stream. We're gonna definitely look to do giveaways. Like, I'm still waiting, trying to get this thing expanded a little bit. I'm gonna start hammering my social medias a bit more. We're gonna look to get to 25 on the stream. We get to 25 that day, we're gonna do a giveaway. I know Deck's giving a bunch of stuff away, so people are kind of focused on that, and I'm happy about that because that'll get more people in the streams, more people in here. So I want to try and get that 25 number here at some point soon, so I can give away that free month of Tradecaster, full access. Everybody can go around, check out some of these paid stream members and whatnot. The giveaway that Deck's doing is pretty awesome. It is, let me see if I can find it on anywhere here. I'll post it up in a little while. I don't want to, actually, you know what? I got it on my phone. I'll take it over here. We will be over on. Yeah, if you go over to my Instagram at Policing Pips, in the story, you're gonna see that he's giving away 30% off all memberships for people who want to pay for them. He's giving away a free month of TradeZilla, free month of Fox Runner, 3 months free of Lightspeed, which is awesome because Lightspeed is pretty expensive monthly, and really good share account. It's 3 cents per share on equities and 30 cents per option. So those are really, really good prices on equities. And he's giving away the Trade Ideas platform, which is really awesome as well. But that's going to be free access to the short-only trading tournament, which I signed up for as well. So I'm going to stream that. It was $7 to just do a short-only. So I'm going to hop into Trade Ideas on that. I think it's on the 27th to the 29th. And then we... whoever can make the most money wins $2,400 in Amazon gift cards. So it's a cool little competition that Trade Ideas does. But he's doing that 33% off for all memberships with full access, which is fantastic as well. So a lot of things he's giving away this week. Everybody who's in Tradecast already that's in here obviously will get access to that. So that's really, really good. He'll send out that information. And then add on that free month giveaway that I'm going to be doing. You could have full access to Tradecaster for another full month, and then get your beyond your discount to carry you on and make some more money, and hopefully some call outs that we do here, or something that you go into another room can make you enough money on one trade to pay for a lifetime membership here in Tradecaster and stick with the community. I'm going to be giving away money. I'm going to be giving away coffee. I'm going to be giving away shirts, hats. I'll be giving away whatever I can think of. As long as this stream continues to grow, we continue to develop a community, I'm going to start to give shit away. Starting with that first giveaway as 25 viewers, we're going to do a free month of Tradecaster. I'm not going to cheat on it. I'm going to do it all organically. We can go into Deck's room. We can go into AK-47's room and say, hey, come by for a day and you get entered in. I want to develop this a little bit organically. I'm not trying to do anything like that where people come in for the day just to get the free month and then bounce, right? And I'm not trying to also steal stream viewers from anybody else. I think really there's a lot of people that go around, and we all provide a different kind of value. So I think we're going to be a really good team moving forward. This could crack now after we break down through the bottom here. I'm not taking any more trades. My trading day is done here. It's 11 o'clock. I hope everybody has a great Valentine's Day. If you are still looking to make some trades, there is some room to the downside here. So potentially look to get this thing to roll over. If you're down small, not seeing the market well, walk away. If you're up and you're comfortable with where you're at, walk away. There's really no reason to kind of mess around during lunch hour, give anything back later on in the day. Start over tomorrow. Have a plan, execute on your plan just like we did here. I said, hey, I wanted to get long here at 700. Didn't quite get to the point where I would have got long, even though everything set up perfectly aside for that flush of 700. Then here, I said, I'm only going to short if I get in between this zone right there. And look at that to the tick. We got into that zone. We saw price messing with 60, so we said 60 is going to be the short point. Stop right above there. Never got any heat on it. Took one off, trailed the second one out. Realistically, if you had a bigger size or if you're trading more micros, you could have trailed this, had your second one off, left that third one at break even, and now that's where you get the rest of your runner. That's what we consider a runner on that one. But, we're scalpers. We're trying to get our money and get out, so can't be mad at an $870 day. So tomorrow we come back. It's going to be Thursday. We will have some economic news tomorrow. Tomorrow we got, let me just make sure before I say what it is. I think it's retail sales, but I don't want to say it and it's wrong. So yeah, we got retail sales at 730 month over month. Forecasting 0.3%, was 0.6% last month. I mean, realistically, it's probably going to be coming in a little hot, but that's just my thought on it. The only other reason it's going to come in a little less is because it's post-holiday season. A lot of that heat came in from Christmas buying, holiday season buying, and stuff like that. So maybe that January downtick does come in. If not, anticipate this to continue to roll down. I mean, to a point, because retail sales does mean that people are spending money, and it does mean that potentially, stronger earnings and stuff for companies moving forward. And this is a basket of companies and not necessarily just the futures, right? So, like I said, today, really good day. We had a good entry. We were very patient. We bounced around from green to red to break even to up a little bit more. And, we went up to 2, and then we decided we're going to either take the long at 700, which we missed because we didn't get that full fill. And then we said, if we get back to 775 or the zone between 67 and 75, we're going to take that short, which we did. We executed on that beautifully below 60, took one off, took the other off, and now we're rolling out to the lows. Anticipate this overnight low to get tagged now that 700 has flushed. So I'm going to get off before I get tempted to take another trade. I love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Happy Valentine's Day. And like I said, I'll see you tomorrow.